Hey, what's happening, guys? Today, just a little bit of soldering therapy. Nothing too much, nothing we all can't handle, right? So what I got for you today is this interesting little IC. This is from that GeekLJT, the same one that sent us that very interesting game handheld thing. I never figured out what it did. So this is kind of the same, except this is a musical deducical. I'll take a look here. So this is the electronic piano soldering kit. Built-in 6 music LED display USB support. Simple and cute small. Yeah, the keys, 8 silent keys. These keys are quite unique. Let me grab one here. I mean, maybe they're not unique, but I have never experienced them before. Here they are. So they are a surface mount tack switch, and they have no click, but you can definitely tell when they're pressed. If you are a keyboard aficionado, you will like those switches. And now, back to our story. If it'll focus. So there are our parameters, function demo, applications, everything included in the kit, which we'll take a look at. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, first up, we have our components over here. We got some 4.7K resistors. There's a 10K. There is even a light-dependent resistor. We've got a crystal and a couple loading capacitors. Some LEDs, piezo. Oh, surface mount chip. Another ST Microcontroller. And some assorted hardware. So, let us get ready. We're going to start with the surface mount chip. Dot lower left. Dot lower left. And we'll start by putting down some of Uncle Rob's magic solder flux. And then what I'm going to do is just get a little bit of solder, and I'm just going to tin this pin, that pad right there, just like that. Next up, I'm going to try and bring this guy in here, get it all lined up where I want, which is kind of one of the most difficult things in doing this. It's just getting everything lined up how you want it. Now I'm holding it. Let's see if we just can't get in there. Tack that one. I don't think I got it. Maybe. All right, let me reset and we'll be right back. Okay. I've got this thing in a frame, so it's easier for me to control. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more flux here, because you can never have too much flux. And then we're going to do the old flood technique. Pretty much just like that. Then I'm going to come in here with a clean tip. And no solder bridges. Now we'll spin this around. We'll do the other side. Okay. So we get that to focus nice. There we go, little solder on there. Just going to drag them across. Then when I'm pretty sure I've got them all ready, clean iron, we're just going to come back. Just wipe them off. It's important your iron is clean when you do this. If it's not, you will not be picking up any solder bridges. And I think that's it. That is down, and there are no solder bridges. So that takes care of that. Next up, we're going to move on to the USB jack that goes on there. This should be relatively easy to solder. Yeah, I don't see any problems with that there whatsoever. All right, so let's get this going here. So it's graduation time in high schools all across the country. Here in Toronto, this Sunday will be our graduation. The class of 2023. I remember fondly when I graduated in 1987. Things were quite a bit different then, man. Or were they? Yes, maybe it's like the more things change, the more they stay the same. I was just thinking, so when I graduated from high school in 87, keep in mind this is before the fall of the Berlin Wall. I think my greatest fear was probably the Russians. And I don't know. You know, I'm not trying to get political. We're just talking about the past, and it seems like to me we might just be headed back to the same place we were before. Worried about war with Russia. Now, I don't know about you, but back then, we found out after the Berlin Wall fell, they didn't even have fuel in their missiles or, you know, paid their men in 8 months. Who knows what it's like now, right? All right, let's start with this one 10K resistor, which I believe is this one. But we are going to check it first to make sure as soon as I find my tester. My tester that's always dead, you know. I got an email this morning from a buddy in Texas, Dr. Quincy, who feels that the Amiga chip in here is probably not powering off. Yeah, it's 10K. And that's why it's draining the battery all the time. That's probably it. So if I was feeling, you know, really rambunctious, I guess I could put in a switch to control that then, couldn't I? So all through high school, Blake worked at the city swimming pool, which which is what I did as well when I was in high school. Funny how, they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. But this year, he is not working at the pool. This year, he is working at a tractor company. It used to be called Pytash Tractors. Now it's called Murphy Family Tractor. On the outskirts of Toronto, and they are a Kubota dealer. So he is spending his summer learning how to assemble and repair big old tractors, big old farm tractors. Pardon me. So there's about the first half of the resistors in, those 5 4.7s and that 110K. And Barry, I put them all in the same direction so as not to offend your sensibilities. Now I'm just going to bend them so they don't fall out. And it's just a simple matter after that of soldering them in. So back to Blake's summer adventures at the tractor place. When he worked at the pool, he made about $8 an hour. And he worked maybe 15 hours a week. For the tractor place, he's making $14.50 an hour, except for overtime. And he's working 45 hours a week. So it's been quite a shock for him, but he is enjoying it. I knew he would, because he's like me. He needs to work with his hands. All right, I'm going to get those all trimmed up. All right, next let's move on to our LEDs. Long leg positive, long leg to the square hole. Just like so. Really easy to place in. I want to apologize for the condition of my hands. The congestive heart failure makes them swell really bad. And sometimes they just ain't good. But to all you say I should wear gloves or something like that, no, I ain't going to. They're my hands. I'm not ashamed of them. I don't have a problem with them. Alright, now I'm paying very close attention because they switched directions on me here. Gotta go for that long leg square. Long leg square. This seems to be a, like a nicely done little kit. We'll see what happens when we put it all together. All right, all the LEDs are in. Well, they're in their sockets. Let's solder them in place. Any of you guys play World of Warships? I just started playing it recently. So far, I'm up to a Tier 5 destroyer. But they have just released, well, not released, but I've just reached the level where they put submarines in the game. Wow, do they suck. World of Warships takes place during, World War II times, so we didn't have a lot of the same ASW type equipment that we have today. So all of a sudden you're playing the game and then there's just torpedoes in the water and you're screwed. That's no fun. Now, yes, I was a submariner, but I was on a boomer, a ballistic missile submarine. Our job was to hide and wait. What were we waiting for? Orders. Orders to launch our packages and end the world, which we never did, obviously. We were never out there, you know, hunting down other ships and stuff. That's the SSN class. We were SSBN, ballistic, nuclear. All right, I'm going to trim all these. You don't have to watch. All right, let's see if we can't solder on these buttons. So I've tinned one side of the pad, as you can see there. Let's start out here in the middle, where I've got a better view, and I can give you a better view. So that's tin. Go like that. Yeah, it's on. These aren't too hard to solder. Just get it flat there. And we'll do this one. All right. I will go ahead and solder these on. You don't have to watch. All right, I've got one side of all the buttons soldered in. Now we can come back to the other side. Nothing much to this. That one, number 7, a little twisted there. Let's see if we can't straighten it up a little bit. That's better. And that's our last one of these to solder in. All right. So all of our buttons are in. For some reason we have a LDR, light dependent resistor. Non-polarized, you can put it in anyway. So let's get that guy in there. We'll get it soldered up. My sister's youngest, William, will graduate from school this Sunday from Wheeling Park High School in Wheeling, West Virginia. Will is going to attend WVU. Congratulations to my nephew, William. All right, who's next? Who's next? No, we can do the switch, I guess. All right, I'm going to do the switch the way you shouldn't do the switch. I'm going to put a glob of solder on my soldering iron. And I'm going to tack one of them in just like that. Now, you can do this. But what you got to remember is you got to come back and fix that joint. So I'm going to solder the rest of these properly. Then I'm going to come back in here, correct that one, hit the others. And the switch is in. We're getting down to the wire, boys and girls. Next up is the buzzer. So you can imagine all of the quality sounds we'll be getting out of a piezo buzzer. But it'll be alright. I'm going to do the same thing. Going to tack it like that. Clean off my iron. Put the other one back. And then correct the first one. Very simple. So that leaves us with the crystal and its two loading capacitors. The crystal also is unpolarized. It's simply a chunk of crystal in there with a couple wires on it. That is a 12 megahertz crystal. So we'll get it soldered in next. Make sure it's sitting right. Looks good. Oh, she's a little crooked. Not going to sweat it. Homemade, right? These little teeny tiny ceramic caps, 22 puff, also non-polarized. And that should be the end of our soldering, I think. No, we still got that header, so there's one more thing to put in there, but should go pretty quick. We should be done here in just a shake of a tail. Not sure which sort of tail is being shaken, but went to this place last weekend near Cambridge, Ohio, called the Wilds, which is like a little safari park, I guess you could call it. They have all sorts of interesting things there, including the Wild Animal Surgery Center, which is like, you can look through the glass and watch them performing surgeries on animals. There's nothing going on when we were there, but it was interesting. What was really interesting is they have a cheetah enclosure and a cheetah run. Man, are they fast. I think that's it. All right, time for our final inspection. Feel free to sound off if you see something. I see no solder bridges. I think it's time to try it out. All right. It is the moment of truth. Well, we're getting lights. There's sound. There we go. So it's working. My ears just ain't that great. Let's put it in the frame. All right, so we got the case on it. Power it up. Uh-oh. We got a sticky switch. I suspect that screw is causing the problem with the switch. But as you can see, she works. It's cute. It's from GeekLJT. And it takes almost no power at all to run. So if you want to do some soldering, want to work on your surface mount, you can do it. Thanks for watching. That's it. I'm out. Peace.